All right, hello, welcome back to the stream. Good to see everybody. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing some more content development today on the stream. Not working on any entity, but working on... I actually want to try to make a unique kind of gun type. I want to do a necromancer gun that shoots little skeleton minions. And the skeleton minions are going to be unique in that they will pathfind to enemies rather than be shot at, any kind of, like a normal bullet would with like a range and a spread and all that stuff. So there's actually a couple of interesting things with this that I need to think about. But, yeah, I want to try it and see what happens. So before we get into that, I want to remind everyone that I've got all the ways that you can support me linked in the description below. I've got my Udemy courses available for sale, so you can pick one of those up if you want to support me and also learn how to build a complete game in the Godot engine. And otherwise, you can wishlist Gunforged, which is the game I'm working on today and have been working on for a while. And you can purchase that when it comes out, hopefully at the end of February. I think we're on track for that, but, anything can happen. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. Alrighty, so let's get right into it. So I'm going to create a new gun type first. Necromancer. Boom. Alright, so we've got our resources in the barrel and all that stuff. I'm actually not gonna really do anything with the art just yet, because I'm more interested in seeing if the bullets are gonna work. So that is my main focus. And it's gonna be really interesting, actually. So I'm gonna create a new inherited scene. Component, bullet. Nope. Bullet component is here for some reason. So yeah, I want to see... This is going to be very tricky because it's going to be a bullet that has pathfind capabilities. So it's going to be a little bit tricksy, I think, but let's see how it works. So we got a sprite 2D. I'm just going to create a new little... These are going to be like really tiny skeletons, I think. So let's do a new placeholder texture. We'll do like a 16 by 16 maybe. Or we could do maybe 16 by 24. We'll see what size that looks like. But I'm gonna do this. Game object bullet. This is a necromancer bullet. Save. All right. So we do the shadow component here. Distance, we'll just do that. Radius 8. Actually, yeah, we'll do that. All right, cool. Hello, Emerson. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. Okay, all right. Okay. So terrain needs to collide with secondary terrain. Let me think. So now the tricky part is going to be... Let's even see if this works real quick. Well, let me add the collision shapes here. New circle shape 2D. We'll do that. And then shape cast 2D. This is going to have to be probably a rectangle shape. Yeah. And do I want to move the shape cast 2D? I do. Okay. So let's shrink that down. Perfect. Okay. First time catching one of your streams. Well, welcome, Momo. Great to see you. Welcome, welcome. What are we going to do today? New enemy. No, we're not doing any enemies today. Today, Well, right now I'm working on a necromancer gun, so we're going to add a necromancer gun to the game, and it's going to shoot little skeleton bullets. But the thing about the skeleton bullets that it shoots is that they are going to be like little pathfinding entities. So they're going to behave like a bullet. They're going to be affected by all the different affix types, but they're actually going to be like, they're going to have their own mind, and they're going to go seek out their own things, their own targets. So that's going to be really interesting, but the problem is that I have to make it work with all the traditional bullet stats, right? So I have to make it work with the spread of bullets. I have to make it work with the other affixes that are available. So I'm going to see how it works. It's going to require quite a lot of testing, I think, but I'm curious to see. But first, I just want to make sure that I can actually test this. So I've added all the parts to the gun, but I haven't gun necromancer left. So basically I've got an invisible gun here, but now I can shoot these little skeleton bullets. So that's basically how it's going. So I haven't done any art for it yet. I just want to see that the skeletons are going to, that they're going to work. Okay, so first order of business is we need to stop them from rotating. So how do I stop it to align to direction? Turn that off. Well, look at that. I already came up with that. Let me just make sure that that does what I think it's going to do. Perfect. Okay. Now, where did the shadows go? Oh, they're still there. Okay. All right. So that's point number 1 done. So now we need it to pathfind. So that's going to be a little bit tricky here. And it's going to be a little bit tricky because we've got these velocities here, this current velocity. And the current velocity is being set in the initialize here. So I think what needs to happen is I actually need to override the current velocity. Let's see. Can I use the pathfind component for this? Pathfind component, navigation agent 2D. It needs a velocity component. Does it need a velocity component? Okay, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. Like some sort of homing bullet. Yeah, kind of. I mean, if you imagine like, having AI minions, they'll just kind of like decide which target to attack by themselves. So it's not exactly homing because, well, I guess it kind of is, but they're going to pathfind. So that means that they're going to run around the floor. They're going to run across or around the terrain to get to where they need to be. So they're going to behave like a bullet, but they're going to have a radically different way of traveling, basically, because they're using the pathfinding. And yeah, so we'll see. Interesting. So this is where the tricky part's going to come in. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and add a pathfind component here. And then I probably want also to instantiate a velocity component. Because the pathfind component, let's see. On velocity computed. So the pathfind component relies on a velocity component, so I can't necessarily... Probably want to turn off avoidance for this. So if I do editable children, I'm going to turn off avoidance here. We don't want that because it's gonna, we want it to collide with enemies, not avoid them. So we turn off avoidance enabled, and that should be fine. Avoidance layers, avoidance mask. Actually, we could turn it on and just move it to the other layer. Yeah, so they avoid each other, but not the enemies. Okay, that'll work. Okay. Now the tricky part is I don't know how to actually modify the bullet's position here. I think what I need to do probably is create a new travel definition, so let me do that. Path find travel definition. And let's see. Where are these travel definitions at? Bullet. Nope. It's probably not in game object. Component, bullet. Yeah, travel definition in here. So path find travel definition. This needs to have a script. Scripts. This has to extend bullet travel definition, which should be fine. Does not implement abstract member. Okay, yes. Implement abstract class. Can I make this... This extends node. I might have to do this. New file. Bullet travel definition 2D. So these bullet travel definitions, these are ways, these are nodes that I can add to a bullet that will modify how the bullet travels. So that's exactly what I want. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do, take this, put this here. Oops, wrong one. Bullet travel definition 2D extends node 2D. Wait a minute. That's not going to work. I needed to inherit from node 2D, but this bullet travel definition inherits from node. That's the problem. How am I going to do that? Well, okay. I'll just delete this for now. Whoops. This is a very tricky thing to implement. It's definitely going to stretch the abilities of what I can do with this game, but we're going to try it. Okay, so node. I may not even need to have a specific node 2D version of this bullet travel definition, so path find component, node private velocity component. Okay. So apply travel update. I'm going to return new travel result. Calculated velocity is equal to velocity component dot velocity. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the path find component manipulate the velocity component and then return that velocity component's velocity out of the calculated velocity here. And hopefully that will work. And so now that I've got this path find travel definition, what I can do is what I've set up over here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut those out and paste those there. Let's see. The avoidance is all good. Target desired distance, let's do 32. No, 16. Actually, probably 0 or 2. Path max distance, 32. Desired distance. Okay, all right. So we'll have to try that out. Max speed, that's gonna have to be set. based on the bullet speed. So let's instantiate this path find travel definition in here. Okay, all right. So basically what happens in the bullet component, during the process, I iterate over all of the travel definitions. I call apply travel update. I pass in the bullet component, the additional velocity, current velocity, etc. So gun stats dot bullet speed dot normalized. So essentially what I need to do is I need to say velocity component dot velocity. Can I change it right here? Get set. Can I set the max speed? Oh, I can set max speed. Okay. So I'm going to say velocity component dot velocity, or velocity component dot set max speed. The max speed is going to be args dot bullet component dot gun stats dot bullet speed. So we'll just make sure to update that. The velocity component acceleration coefficient, I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit. So there's a little bit of natural motion, natural acceleration there. So we're going to set the max speed there. Now this is the thing. I need to do path find component dot. Yeah, so okay, this is going to be tricky. So if I was doing this correctly, I'd create another travel definition, which is like an enemy target travel definition, but I'm not interested in like super well architecting this again, because the game's getting close to finish, so I can't really be spending time on architectural stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to copy this. I'm going to grab a node 2D, private node 2D target. Okay, if not is instance valid target, then what we're going to do is we're going to say if not is instance valid target, we're going to grab a target here. So the target is going to be let's see, what is this code actually doing? Get closest entity to position. Yes. So essentially what this is doing is this is just iterating over all of the entities and finding the closest one to a given point. I can just pass in this here. Faction.enemy player input manager get aim position. That's not correct. So the position that I want to get, oh wait. Yeah, the position that I want to use is I'm going to do something a little bit tricksy here. This as node2d dot global position. Actually, you know what? I can't do that. First of all, it's not going to let me, but I can do args.bulletComponent.global position. So basically what this is going to do is find all of the enemies that are closest to this current position, and then it's going to go ahead and set that target there. If pathfindComponent dot can set target position, if is instance valid target, then what we're going to do is we're going to say pathfindComponent.set target position target. Otherwise, pathfindComponent.set target position, we're just going to use the player, this.getPlayer.global position. Otherwise, we'll just say args.bulletComponent.global position. So we're just trying to make it so that it's not going to crash or error out. And then I can call pathFindComponent.followPath. And that, under the hood, is going to update the velocity component in the direction of the path. And then what we're doing is we're setting the bullet's velocity to what that velocity component has stored. Why is this in here? Get out of here. Okay. So all of that is to say, we're going to add some more complex AI in here too. So for instance, we don't want the skeletons to all target the same entity. I want them to spread out so it looks like a little army. So there's going to have to be some kind of like blackboard here that basically says, okay, and a skeleton is already attacking this entity, so spread out. That's going to kind of be the appeal of this gun, I think. But first of all, let's see if this even works. So what I should see is that these little skeleton things are going to go toward the training dummies, I think. It also is possible that it's just going to completely break, but let's see. Oh, look at that. It completely broke. Okay. Why is it breaking? Object reference not set to an instance of object. Navigation agent 2D. Why? Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, I never assigned the velocity component. That's what I didn't do. Velocity component, boom. All right, let's try it again. Hello, Ariane. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. How are you doing? Okay, so it's working. You can see that the skeletons, which are these little, are running around the terrain and going to one of the training dummies. Now, they don't have enough range to be all that useful. So, and the other problem, of course, is that, oh, there's going to be a lot of problems here. I'm just thinking. So one problem is that when they run into terrain, they're being deleted. And I actually don't want that to happen. So inside of the bullet component, move and collide. Oh, that's different. Okay. Handle if collision is not equal to null. Handle terrain collision. Ricochet is remaining. So the ricochet is going to be an interesting one. How is ricochet going to work with this? I wonder if I should just leave this alone, or if I should modify the ricochet to work differently with these guys. This is the problem with creating a bullet that's like a little minion, is that it still has to work with all the affixes and stuff that I have in game. So maybe I will make it so that they die when they collide with terrain, and then you can just buff that by adding a ricochet. That is probably going to be okay. Yeah. Now I'm curious to see. I'm going to change this range up to like 300 here, and then the bullet angle is another one. So as it stands right now, this bullet angle property is not going to really do anything. But I think it would be fun if the bullet angle... Where's the bullet angle? Yeah, there's a lot to think about. So this bullet angle here, If the bullet angle ends up being like 15 degrees or 25 degrees, then I need to have that modify the minion behavior in some way. So there's a lot to think about here, but I'm sure I'll just see what happens. Necromancer, receiver, damage. Let's give it some damage here. Bullet speed 300. Let's turn this down to 150. I'm curious to see what that looks like. So I improved the range and removed or lowered the speed a little bit, which should make them more easily able to dodge the terrain anyway. Training dummy. Interesting. Pathfind component dot follow path. Get path direction. Global position direction 2. Yeah, I think what I want to do is I'm going to turn on this debug draw. And we're going to see. This is going to be a very fun gun, though, I think. Yeah, why is it going straight to the center? Why is it going straight to the center? Oh, you know what? Right, it's getting the hurt box. So it's going towards the hurt box. I don't necessarily... Do I want that to be the case? I don't know if I want the skeletons to pathfind to the center of the hurt box. That's not... I mean, I guess I could make that the case. Okay, well. Let's see. Let's see how it actually works in game with moving targets and whatnot before I go any further. So you see how when one of them dies, they just go immediately to the next one. This is going to be very interesting in terms of how this works. Add rune bullet split. Oh, this is broken. I guess that's to be expected. Okay, well, I should probably add some art and whatnot. I wanted to see if bullet split would work. I mean, I guess I can just try it by doing this. Let's see. Innate affixes. Quick load bullet split. I'm just curious to see if this is going to work. Also, the other thing is that, let's see. I have this enemy tracking travel definition. So this enemy tracking travel definition basically overrides the pathfinding, this calculated velocity here. So I think it's going to break. My pathfinding is going to break if this homing bullet, because I have another affix that's like a homing bullet, but it's not the same thing. So if this enemy tracking travel definition is present along with the pathfind travel definition, then there's going to be a little bit of... There's going to be a collision there, so I need to deal with that. Okay, so I'm going to write these things down here. Let's see. Necromancer gun that shoots pathfinding skeletons. So make it work with enemy tracking. Travel definition. There were some other things that I was saying, but we'll leave that aside now. Oh yeah, I want to make it work with... Make it work with bullet angle stat. Potentially makes skeletons wander a bit. Okay. This is going to be very interesting when it's finished. I just have a lot of things to think about here. Okay, so the Necromancer bullet, right. So I'm going to test it with just bullet split. I'm just going to make sure that it works. I'm sure it is going to work, but you know how these things go. So what I should see is that the bullet, the skeleton will split when hitting that. Okay, so the other problem that I'm dealing with here is that, so the reason they're not doing any further damage to that thing is because when a bullet splits on an enemy, that enemy gets ignored for any bullets that are created. And so the problem here is that this enemy that it hits is being ignored. So what needs to happen is they need to split and go find different targets. So that's another thing that I need to think about here. But I don't think, none of this is fundamentally not doable. There's just, because these are radically different types of bullets. Why are they dying? Handled travel death? Distance traveled. Oh, the distance traveled is not actually the distance traveled. It's based on the bullet speed. Shouldn't this be... Well, I don't really want to do... I don't want to make such a drastic change here right now, but yeah, I might have to address that as well. Add card. I mean, this may not be an issue in practice, but I'll just write that down just in case. Okay. So a lot of things to consider here, but basically in this pathfind component, let's see. Is there an ignored set? Yeah, I've got this ignored set here, so basically in this pathfind travel definition, I need to have some kind of sorting mechanism in here. Get closest entity to position. So I think what I can do is I can have an action. No, a func node 2D. That returns a Boolean. Filter fn. Can I do null here? Cool. And filter fn dot invoke. What is the ignored set here? The ignored set is a node. Let's see, ignored set add to ignore list. Where's add to ignore list? Oh, are you serious? Add to ignore list. Hurt. So the hurt box is what's being added to the ignore list. Okay. So let's just pass in the, let's just make this the hurt box component just explicitly here. Well, we'll do node 2D. That's fine. But we'll pass in the hurt box here. Invoke equals true, or it's not equal to false. So basically, if the filter function is not null, it's going to invoke it with the hurt box, and that needs to return true. Because this is either going to be true, false, or null. So as long as it's not false, then we want to continue with this. And in here now, I can do that. So I can say hurt box return not, and I'm going to go ahead and get a reference, or I'm going to go to that bullet component here. I'm just going to add a public Boolean in here. Public, what am I doing? Public bool is node ignored. And I'm going to take a node 2D here. Node, actually, I don't think that's right. Just node return ignored set dot contains node. Okay, so return not args dot bullet component dot is node ignored, and we'll pass in the hurt box there. Okay, I guess I don't need that. Well, that's a long line, but whatever. Okay, so I think that's fine. So now my bullet split should work now, where as soon as they split, they will go find different targets here. Hello, Pavel. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Good morning, Christopher. Good to see you as well. That did not work. Why didn't that work? Game entity utils. All right, well, I guess I'll have to debug that. I'll restart my extensions, fine. Anyway, let's do launch. See if this works. Is that just never being called? Is instance valid target, get closest entity to position. Huh? Am I missing something? Okay, I actually don't want to do that just yet. I can continue, wait for it to collide. Yeah. Okay, so now I can go in here, get closest entity to position. Let's put that there. Is it never invoking that is ignored? Let's see. Filter function. Right, okay, so this should be working. Oh, I guess it's because of this here. Why am I doing this here? I think it's just because my loop is wrong. This in here is not correct. So, yeah, why am I doing that? Closest distance is equal to float.max value. Or can I do float dot? Are you allowed to do infinite? Positive infinity? Does that work with distance checks here? Maybe it will. Let's see. I think that was probably the issue. That is not the closest one. Oh, because I need to change this now to start at 0. Oops. All right, let's see if that works. Boom, boom. Oh yeah, look at that. Now they're properly ignoring when they split. Excellent. Gonna be able to create little skeleton armies. Hee. Okay, so that's working fine. Okay, so the enemy tracking travel definition now. I don't think that that's gonna be a problem. But I might as well try it, so let's see. So the tricky thing is if I have, let's say, quick load bullet track here. Homing bullets, yeah. So if I have homing bullets, the targeting needs to change. The targeting needs to change. And it needs to change in this way. So let me think about this. Bullet track affix. So what this is doing is this is instantiating this enemy tracking travel definition here, and it is adding it to that bullet component. So it's going to be the last child. Is something flickering? Oh, my camera is flickering. Why is that happening? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Well, hopefully that stops flickering. Anyway, so this enemy tracking travel definition is being added as a child to the bullet component. And so that means that it would be like this. Enemy tracking travel definition here. And the way that the code works is that I think it just takes the last calculated velocity here. So let's see, current velocity, limit length, yeah. So these will just clobber. So the calculated velocity coming from the enemy tracking travel definition is going to override the path finding, which is not good. So I need to figure out a way to make those play nicely together. I mean, ideally what I would do is I would make this more granular. So I would say enemy tracking travel definition. I would probably break this up such that there's one component that grabs the target closest to the mouse, and then there's another component that actually modifies the velocity based on that target. But I don't know if that would actually help me terribly much. But this still does need to work. So basically what I want this to do is probably I basically just want this to select the target for the pathfind travel definition. So I need to get somehow the target here. I need to get that. Wait, how does this even work? Bullets, wait. Bullet track affix on bullet created. I don't even know how this bullet track affix works with like bullet splits. This should probably... This should probably only take effect on initial fire. So that's kind of like a bug, I guess, that I'm finding now. Bullet creation event. All right, new bullet creation event. So when the bullet component is initialized here, What does bullet split do? Initialize. Lots of trickiness. Lots of trickiness. Okay. Let me write this down before I forget. That is a problem that is kind of separate from what I'm doing now, so I'll just kind of like forget that right now. But I basically just need this information here. So when the enemy tracking travel definition is present, what that needs to do is just supply the target for the pathfind component. This is a tricky one. This is a very tricky one. I need the calculated velocity not to clobber everything. Oh, is my camera glitching again? Why is this happening? Hold on a second. I'm gonna see if I can fix this. All right, let's see. Hopefully that this will work. Okay, well, technical issues aside, are we putting magic numbers in the code? Sometimes. Welcome back, AnyKey. Good to see you. I actually don't know how I'm gonna do this. Let's see. Calculated velocity. I mean, I could do like a priority system, but that doesn't solve the problem of I need information from this one to get to this one. I mean, I could also hard code it. Well, I know this is riveting stream right here, but this is a very tricky problem and I don't know how I'm going to fix it. So maybe I'll just leave that aside for now. It's fixable, but I don't know what the best approach is going to be here. What about the wander travel definition? Wander travel definition here. Wander strength, wander rotation delta. Does this change the additional velocity? Args.current velocity. Wait, is that as simple as doing that? No, it's not that simple. Pathfind travel definition. Yeah, it's not that simple, but I could add the wander in here. Pathfind travel definition. Shoot. Oh my gosh, this is so... I wonder if I could do this. Wander travel definition. Let's add a wander strength, wander rotation delta, wander strength, wander rotation delta. Let's use let's do this. Export private bool, use bullet angle as rotation delta. Var rotation delta is equal to use bullet angle as rotation delta, then args.bulletComponent.gunStats.bullet angle. Otherwise, we're going to use wander rotation delta, and then we'll slap that in there. So now what I should be able to do is I should be able to go in this necromancer bullet here, get rid of this. I'll put this down here. Wander travel definition. Build this. Hello, Lai. I don't know. I hope that I said that correctly. It's my first time catching the stream. What problem were you tackling? It's a little bit complicated to explain. It's not that I need a rubber duck. It's just that I don't know what the best solution is going to be. But I guess I can try to rehash it a little bit. So basically I have a bunch of bullet travel definitions that change how the bullet wanders, or changes how the bullet travels when it's flying through the air. And for this bullet, the necromancer bullet, they're actually different in that they are little skeletons. So they have actually pathfinding instead of just like typical bullet trajectories. So they're going to wander around on the ground. And that works fine. The problem is that when that's combined with other travel definitions, for example, the, what is it called? Enemy tracking travel definition, which basically makes it so that the bullets go to the closest enemy to the crosshair, to the player's crosshair. This enemy tracking travel definition doesn't have a way of playing nicely with the pathfinding, because the pathfinding relies on targeting a specific entity. This also targets an entity, but the problem is they both modify the bullet's velocity, so they end up clobbering each other. So that means whichever one gets applied last is going to be the one that wins out. And it's not as simple as just combining the velocities, because then the pathfinding is going to be ruined. So they actually need a more bespoke interaction where basically if the enemy tracking travel definition is used in conjunction with this pathfind travel definition, then the enemy tracking travel definition basically just needs to supply the target for the pathfind travel definition, rather than the pathfind travel definition selecting the target for itself. So there are a number of ways to do that. All of the ways are very terrible and bad. And so that's why I'm kind of like not sure what to do. Where did I close my necromancer bullet? Oh no, I've just got a bunch of tabs open. So anyway, use bullet as angle, but it should work with all the other travel definitions. At least I'm gonna see. Oh, before I do that, I also want to do, let's see, barrel bullet angle 15. So I should see a little bit of wandering now in the little skeletons here. And I didn't see any wandering. Maybe I need to up the wander strength here. Undertale infamously has every single dialogue script in a single if-else chain. So, I mean, as long as you can get away with the functionality you need, right? Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah. I think there's a very gnarly way that I can do this. That's not working either. That wandering is not working. What happens if I put a magic number in here? Like any key set, I'll just put a magic number. I wonder if that's just not working. Let's see. No, it should be fine. Wow, that is just like not deviating from the path at all. Interesting. What happens if I remove that? Am I doing something wrong there? Use bullet angle as rotation. It just does not want to wander. That's very interesting. Why? Okay, there's a lot going on here. I was convinced that that was going to work. Man, bullet travel definition, apply travel update. Let me check out something. Bubble bullet. What is the bubble bullet doing? Oh, this has a very high rotation delta. So maybe that's what I'm missing here. These numbers aren't standardized enough for me to make good sense of them. So I think what I'll need to do is take this necromancer bullet here. Let's try that, 720. I want to see some path deviation here. Come on. Give me some path deviation. Wow, that is just rock solid on the path. What is going on? So this is returning a travel result in my bullet component here. So in the process method, I iterate over all the travel definitions. The travel definitions are set where? Get nodes of type, bullet travel definition. That's just iterating over the children. So that's going to be in order. It's setting the current velocity, and then what should happen is that it goes to the next travel definition, which is the wander here. Is it working? Well, only one way to find out, I suppose. We'll do a debug. Everything's going wrong. I thought this was going to be a little bit smoother than this, but apparently pathfinding bullets are not easily supported. So let's see. Bullet travel definitions. We've got 3 of them. Oh, you know what? It's not working because I foolishly left this bullet track here. That's why it's not working. Okay, well, debugging helped. Okay, never mind, never mind. It was a ID10T error. Still rock solid path, so that's unfortunate. That makes me feel really sad. Let's see. Maybe I just didn't save that resource. Make sure I don't have it anywhere else. Yeah, okay, good. Wow, it is like it's not deviating from the path at all. Okay, well, back to debugging. So we got 2 bullet travel definitions. Path find travel definition is the first one, and wander travel definition is the second one. So let's see. Ah, dang, what? Okay. I'm still on the path find travel definition, so current velocity is going to be set here. Okay. And it's got no additional velocity. So it's going to go again, and now it's going to do the wander. Oops. Now it's going to do the wander, right? Wander travel definition. It's going to pass in that current velocity. Travel update calculated velocity is that. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. I might need to change how this wander works too. Unless, you know what? It might all be working just fine, but it might be that... It might be that because this velocity component has a very high acceleration coefficient, if I turn that down, maybe this is just not going to work. I mean, it's possible. It is just like rock solid on the path. It's not deviating from the path at all. I can't get it to deviate. If I turn up this wander strength to like 500. There's got to be something going on here. I did not build the game to support this use case, so I have a couple of options. I can keep fiddling with it. It's just not working. Look at that. Is it generating a new path all the time? So I can keep fiddling with it to get it to work in all these different scenarios. Or I could just say, well, the wandering and bullet angle and stuff is not going to have an effect on these skeleton minions. And like the enemy tracking and whatnot. I want everything to work nicely though, so that's the thing. follow path is not doing anything. Set max speed, yeah. Balatro also has infamously big if-else change for card effects. Is that so? Yeah, I mean, I believe it. Why is the Wander not working correctly? I want to see some deviation. Come on. I want to know that this is working. It's just not. It's not going at all. Watch this, and if I delete this Pathfind travel definition, I think the wandering will kick in then. Yeah, look at that wander now. See? Look at that. So why in the world is that not working when I have the Pathfind in there? Current velocity, or calculated velocity is equal to that. Bullet component, it's setting the current velocity to the calculated velocity there. Limit length, yeah. And then it's passing in the current velocity here. Going to the wander, args.current velocity plus wander direction times wander strength, which is then being limited here. I mean, that's probably not how the wander should work. Might have to rework this wandering, but then I'm gonna have to make sure all the bullets that use the wandering are correct. Okay, well, I'm just gonna drop that for now. I think that bullet wander needs... I think what I don't need is I don't need this wander strength. I think what it should do, the wander, is it should just modify the calculated velocity. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why it's... Yeah, it's the reason it's not working. Yeah, the reason it's not working is because... Okay, I see what it's doing. So, every loop, the Pathfind component comes and clobbers the calculated velocity here. So, you've got the wander, which is building up some kind of calculated velocity, right? So it's manipulating it every frame to wander, but then what's happening on the next frame is that this Pathfind travel definition is just snapping the velocity back in line with the path. So yeah, these things they're just end up clobbering each other again. It's the same issue. So I think what I need to do is, what do I need to do? Do I need to do like an average? Do I need to just average out all the velocities that happen? I wonder if that would work. I wonder if that would just be like a quick, easy to do thing. So rather than setting the current velocity here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. var calculated velocity sum is equal to, we'll just use current velocity, var calculated velocity sum. I don't know what the technical term is. I'm just going to call it divisions equals 1. So here, yeah. So in here, I'm going to do this. Calculated velocity sum plus equals that. Calculated velocity sum divisions plus plus. And then we add the additional velocity. And then here, current velocity is equal to calculated velocity sum divided by calculated velocity sum divisions. So for each travel definition, it's either going to use the calculated velocity returned by the travel update, limited by the bullet speed, or the current velocity and update it. So even if this returns null, it's just going to be the same. So if I average out all the calculated velocities and then set that here, right. Okay, is that going to produce... I'm going to have to check and make sure that that works, but now I've kind of resolved the clobbering issue. They're still going to be fighting each other to some extent, but that's better than clobbering, I think. Hello, the Red Velvet. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. All right, let's see what happens. Boom. Nothing happened. After all of that, nothing happened. I wonder if I shouldn't limit the length here. I'll do the limit length here. So now I actually have more control over the influence of each of the calculated velocity stuff, I think. Well, that's still not going to work, is it? Oh, there's some wandering. Oh, there's some wandering. It's very, very slight, such that it's like basically useless. I think I just need to change how wander works, generally speaking. Man, I'm following your 2D Survivors course in C# and having a blast, fumbling a bit, figuring out the code only, the in-code only signals and the different types of collections in C# and Godot, but it's really cool. Thank you, Zyno Blide. Very much appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for being here too. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back, I should say. Is it wandering or homing, really? Well, there's both. So wandering is just what it sounds like. It's like the bullet has a trajectory, but it also kind of like loosely follows it by wandering around. And then there's a homing functionality too, which more directly and distinctly pulls the velocity in the proper direction. The problem is when all of those things get added together, they need to be able to work together, but they're not. So all right, let's see. Okay, I just need to spend time with this. I probably need to do a bunch of testing this afternoon to get this working, but I don't want to let this hold up the, development of this gun. So I'm going to just drop these specific issues here since they're not, working. So rework how bullet travel definitions handle velocity clobbering. Remove wander strength from wander definition. The thing is, like, I have a bunch of different bullet travel definitions which should all work. They should all harmonize together. So if you've got like the homing travel definition, that needs to work with the wander so that they, you know, they meld together very nicely. And this necromancer bullet, this pathfind travel definition, needs to be able to work with a wander as well. The reason I want to get wander working here is because right now with the pathfinding of the necromancer bullet, the bullet angle, the gun stat, the bullet angle, which typically determines how much the bullets spread, it has no effect. And so I don't want to be adding new content to the game that just kind of like makes other content non-operable, right? Everything needs to work together in a very consistent and predictable way. So that's the big problem. But, you know, I think that I'll have to spend some time working on those off stream so I can actually like focus on them. But let's work on the art and let's work on the little skeletons. And I think that's going to be interesting. So we'll do that. Maybe it could work with a constant multiplying the wander strength when combining. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's more complicated than just multiplication and everything. So I'm going to need to, think about how to do that. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. And then when I come back, I will continue on with the necromancer gun. We'll do some art for the little skeletons. We'll do some art for the gun. We'll get that all in game. And then I also need an affix type for it. I'm not exactly sure what the affix should be. So the rune, that should be innate to the gun, the necromancer gun. So maybe I could do a new status effect, maybe like a haunt or something, and like the haunt status effect makes it could be interesting. Like there could be a haunt status effect that makes an enemy that's affected by it like deal damage to nearby enemies or something like that. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. So check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways you can support me. And when I get back from my break, we will continue on with this necromancer gun. All right, so BRB. Okay, all right, I'm back. Well, it's been a little bit of a rough stream, but we are going to fix it because we're going to draw a cute little skeleton and he's going to run around and it's going to reinvigorate everyone's love for necromancers. Yep. Okay, so let's stay as close to this size as possible. So that's 16 by 24. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, file new. 16 by 24. Boom. All right, let's see how this goes. So firstly, let's draw a little skeleton head. You know what, I'll start it down here so I have some room. Not quite with the shape. Okay. Something like that. Yes. Okay. Do I have room to do a little jaw? Somewhat. I have some room. Well, that just doesn't look right. Okay, okay, we're getting there. It looks more like an ape skull right now. Right, okay, that's what I needed. Yeah, I needed the cheekbone. Right, okay, all right. Yeah, so a little bit of a cheekbone there. Let's see. No, those eyes are too high up. I think that's probably fine, honestly. Maybe I'll just... I don't have enough room here. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, let's give this an outline. Yes. Yes. I think it looks fine. I might use a darker color for these, what do they call them? I guess you would call them like an orifice, right? Or is that too nasty of a word? I don't know. Okay. We got our cute little skeleton head. His head maybe is a little bit too round. Let's see. Can I fix that? Ooh, almost. Yes, he's got a big old cranium. A cranium might be too big. It looks a little bit like an alien. So if I do, let's see, if I do this now, and then... Ooh, yeah, that's better. I think that's better. Choose the right color, please. This over here. Yes, perfect. Okay. We got a little skeleton face now. Okay. Oh, cute little guy. So now I gotta do the difficult part, which is the body. The funny thing is that this actually needs to go in the gun asset folder. So let's go ahead and do that. Necromancer. I'm gonna call this bullet. Hello, D-Rose Game Dev. Hope your day is going good so far. It's going all right. And good day to everyone in the comments as well. Thank you. How are you doing? Eye socket is easier on the ears, I think. Oh, yeah. Yes, right. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, okay, that looks good. All right, so I'm gonna call this head. I'm actually gonna animate this like I animate the rest of my entities. But now that this is gonna be the tricky part is the rib cage. So I'm gonna try to get away with just doing something very, very basic here. I'm gonna change this to torso. I probably will make this just one piece. All right, let's see. So here, what I want to do is just kind of see if I can get away with just implying the existence of ribs here, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm doing a great job so far, but everything looks better with an outline, so let's add an outline. Not that color though. Bloop. You know what? It doesn't look terrible. I think what I need to do is just make it longer. That looks all right. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to give the impression of being a skeleton, which I think it's doing that decently, but you know, I guess I'll let you be the judge of that. Oops. Have you considered making a video on game architecture you found to be helpful as a general purpose template? That's a good question, Roman, but I'm not sure. Are you talking about like if you're talking about like the code architecture, that's going to vary based on what kind of game you're making. But if you're talking about just like structuring the files and the directory structure, I could definitely do something like that. Again, it's one of those things where it's not, it's very subjective. So, you know, like for instance, when I'm doing C#, I like to separate the scripts from the scenes directories, but a lot of people like to keep everything together. I think the Godot docs even recommend that you should like keep everything related to each other together in a same directory, but I don't do that. I split up the assets and the scripts and everything. But I could definitely make a video on that, I think. Might be an interesting topic. All right, let's see if I can successfully make some bony legs here. Goodness, this is going to be difficult. His legs are so tiny. How am I supposed to do this? I mean, I guess he needs a pelvis more accurately, but I wonder if I should do that. Should I add like a little... Should I make a pelvis? Or is that going to be too much detail? Might be too much detail, but let's see. Also doesn't look like a pelvis at all. Okay. I mean, this is looking decent. He's so tiny. I'm gonna need to add like whatchamacallit as well. Like a weapon or something. Such a goofy skeleton. Leg back. This little knee part doesn't look as good. Well, what I can do, I can move it back a little bit. I mean, does this even... Let's see. I wonder if this is even going to look good at all. Let's test it. If you think about like components in React, you put all the components files together in one directory, be they style sheets, tests, or the component itself. I mean, you can do that, but I've seen it done where that's not the case either. Like I've seen it done where tests are in a separate directory apart from the thing. So that's what I mean. I don't know if there's like a right or wrong way to do it. I think you kind of need the pelvis to look like a skelly. Well, yes. I think... I wonder if I just do this. Let's see. I don't know, I kind of feel like I need... That kind of looks better. It's a little bit muddy, but... You know what, I think that looks better, honestly. It's not exactly a pelvis, but... It's a little bit more shapely. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, now I need to figure out how to do the arms. This is going to be the toughest part, I think. What I might need to do is move all this stuff over, so I have room for like a sword or something. Depends on the testing platform, I guess. Just would like you to put tests by the thing they are testing. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to use a very obvious color. Just give him like a super tiny sword. He probably needs to have a little bit bigger of a sword. Let's see. Sprite, canvas size, width. Let's go up to 24. Just so we can extend the sword out a little bit. Okay, we'll see how this looks. Give it an outline so it can be seen a little bit easier. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't have any room for anything. Okay, well. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. You're really good at art. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's going to... The skeleton's a little rough. It's a little bit smaller than I'm used to drawing. But I think it's turning out fine. Yeah. We'll see how it looks in game. Stalagmite from the enemy yesterday, you mentioned you needed to fix the shading after rotating it. Can I see how it turned out? I'm curious to see the differences. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Oops, stalagmite. What? Stalagmite. Yeah, so this is how it turned out. So basically, yeah, just flipped it around. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't think I have the old version available, but before it was like a stalactite, so it looked like it was coming from the ceiling, so you could see like the bottom of it. You could see the top part of the bottom of it. But since it's flipped and with the perspective, you can no longer see the bottom. And then all of the rings and whatnot had to be flipped around too, so they kind of come down instead of going up. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it is. Okay, well, I guess I'll just export this little dude and see what's happening. I'm gonna have to change the offset here. I'm probably gonna also need it to change how it's facing based on where it's going, but let's just see if that even looks good at all. Looking good, thanks. Yeah, appreciate that. Okay, so now if I give these guys a little bit of an animation. Yeah, this is gonna be, I think it's gonna be all right. Now the question is, to what extent do I want to? I think what I'll do is I'll split the arm into its own layer. I'll split the head into its own layer, and then the body and the legs will be the same. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this manually. I usually have a process that I do for this, but bullet arms, export. Bullet head. Bullet torso. Okay, so now what I can do is I can animate this. Now the only thing is I have to modify the offset so that the pivot point is correct. Then I have to move it down. Okay, and then for the head, same deal. So offset, I want something more like right there, and then I'll move it. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay, and then the torso, I want to at least move this down a little bit and do that. Okay. All right, so now I can animate this. Got some D3 vibes. Is that Diablo 3? Okay, and this shape cast, I'm actually going to bring this in just a little bit. Yeah, okay. That wasn't super necessary, but yeah, Necro has swarms of skeletons you can command and converge on target enemies. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember that. I didn't play much of Diablo 3 after the Necromancer expansion came out. I played it a lot before then. I played the Witch Doctor, but Okay. Let's do some animations now. Okay. I forgot if I need it to go forward or... Right, I think this needs to be... There we go, got like a little hopping animation. I could even make this more hoppy. Okay, so that's very basic right there. And then for the head, probably going to do something similar, not the offset. Position. Rotation. Okay. Do I want to rotate the head a little bit? I suppose I could. Yeah, we'll see how that works. All right, and then for the arms... I think it would be kind of fun if the arms actually went up a little bit higher. And then reset down to their position a little bit later. Actually, yeah, so that might be a little bit too much. There we go. For the rotation here, do I want to go up? Haha, yes. Maybe we'll make it go down past its normal rotation. Oops. So 0, negative 60. Let's do positive 15. So it's kind of like a little bit of an attacking motion, but not really. And then we can add... There we go. Make that linear again. Okay. Give him a hobby horse so the jumping looks natural. That would be hilarious. That would be so funny. Okay, anyway. I wish I would have thought of that. Oh well. Maybe I can add a hobby... Ooh, I could do like a hobby horse enemy at some point. That'd be interesting. That would be really funny, actually. That'd be really funny. Okay. What am I doing? Oh, I want to see how this looks in game now. So let's see how those look. I'm going to have to handle their flipping and whatnot, but... I should probably turn off this. Oh, in here, Pathfind component, turn off the debug. Necromancer bullet. I want to clear the material here. So I want this bullet to be affected by lighting so it looks like an actual entity. Look at them, they're so cute. So what's going to happen is when they collide with enemies, they're just going to explode, I think, into like a bunch of bones. They need to flip based on their velocity as well. So basically what they do is they're currently just going to the closest enemy, but what I want them to do is I want them to spread out. So basically communicate with each other such that once one enemy has been targeted by a skeleton, then the rest of the skeletons will find different targets, right? So they'll just kind of automatically distribute themselves across the battlefield. So if you get a really high capacity magazine and a really high fire rate, you can just send minions all across the screen. But let's see how this works in practice. Obviously I don't have any gun art yet, and they just follow you too if there's no enemies on screen. Look at them go! Go attack them, my minions. So look, they're just following me until they disappear. That's funny. That's very funny. I can't do any upgrading though because my gun is broken, but it works for shooting things. Hello, Flavio. Bought your very good course, a hug from Brazil. Thank you so much. I'm super happy to hear that you like the course. Or I'm assuming you like the course. But yeah, thanks for purchasing. It's very much appreciated. I think you could get the same effect with random distribution. That's true. Yeah, that might be easier if I just randomly choose a target. But it's not, it can't, because I do want it to still be ordered based on the distance. So the first one you shoot should go to the closest enemy, but then the second one you shoot should go to the second closest enemy. Basically, the closest enemy that is not currently being attacked by a skeleton should be the target. And if there are no such targets, I mean, I guess I don't need to make it that complicated, but maybe making it random would be a little bit more interesting. But the problem is, like, what happens if there's an enemy off screen and then, you know, the enemy or the skeleton just runs to that enemy and dies before it even gets there because it has a limited range, right? So that's a consideration as well. That's so funny. If I get them to like face the correct way, and then I get those other like travel definitions working, I think it'll be fine. I think they're goofy enough in a way that's very compelling. I'm just kind of playing through. I just want to see how they do with all the different enemy types. And of course, like, the stats can change depending on which gun parts you have too. So if you got the sniper, then their range will be extended and their speed can be extended. Unfortunately, I can't test that part right now because my gun is broken, like I said. I don't think, I mean, if I did this, Would that work? Oh, it does work. Oh, but I changed the magazine. Wait, they're all magazines? Always have been. Oh, look at that. Wait. It's shooting 4 of them at once. Look at that. Wow. Wait. That's so cool. Go! Oh my gosh. Yes, my minions. I really hope that doesn't tank the performance. I think players will be fine with it though, because it's so goofy. Even if it tanks the performance a little bit, it should be fine. I mean, it's not that bad. Wow. Go! I can't wait to see how this looks. Go, minions! They all just run around applying bleed. That's so funny! I love it. I love it. That's amazing. Okay, well, this is gonna make all the annoyances worth it. This is now the only thing that I want, yeah. That is so funny, man. I love it. Oh, man. I just need to get through all of these issues that came up as a result of adding that. But I think that that's going to be... It'll be fine. It's just going to take me some effort to get done. But, yeah. I got to come up with an affix still. I think... I don't know. Should I introduce a new haunt status? I think a haunt status could be interesting. So... You know, in my game, I have to, you know, I have to have, each gun has to have an innate affix, or an innate rune. And so I'm trying to think of what a good rune type would be for, like, a necromancer. For a necromancer gun. And I'm thinking, like, haunt. And haunt can be a status effect that, maybe I'll make it so that when an enemy is affected by haunt and dies, it like deals damage to an enemy, and then that enemy also becomes haunted, so it's like an automatically like spreading thing. And then I can of course make a bunch of passives that are based around the haunt. I think I might do something like that, but I have to think about that some more. Just wanted to pop in and say your game looks really cool. Thank you, Luna. I just recently got into game dev about 2 weeks ago after trying many times over the years. Your vids are really informative. TY. You're welcome. Thanks for your message, Luna. Very much appreciate that. And yeah, thanks for being here. Welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, I'm about to end the stream, so I'm going to commit what I have and then close it out. So work on necromancer gun. So there's a lot that I need to clean up with respect to this, but I think it's turning out decently. I think it's turning out all right. So please commit. What's taking you so long? No, it's gonna fail. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you all so much for watching. Very much appreciated. The first half of the stream was a little bit rough, a little bit slow, but I think I can resolve those issues. I just need to think about it some more. But I really like how this necromancer gun is turning out, so I'm very excited to get it done so that it can be in the game. But yeah, Wishlist Gunforged, the link for that is in the description below. It's going to come out hopefully at the end of February, so... Right now, I'm just in a content grinding mode where I'm just trying to put everything in the game that needs to be in the game. And otherwise, you can check out the links to my Udemy courses. They're available below. You can learn how to make a complete game in the Godot engine. That's also a great way of financially supporting me, by the way, because that's where I'm making most of my money right now. So as I'm full-time indie dev, that's my only source of income, really. Hoping to change that with Gunforged, but any support, whether it's financial or non-financial, is greatly appreciated. Even something as simple as liking this video and watching my other videos is greatly appreciated. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all to everyone watching right now, and also for everyone watching the VOD, and also the lurkers. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you in the next stream. All right, bye-bye, everyone.